Hello everybody, my name is Cool Blue, and I'm bringing you guys vlog number 14. This one is about raging, and the reason why I want to do this one is because, well, the vlogs, they're supposed to be about me talking about things about the community, because I want to help improve the community and blah blah blah. So this will be the first one technically directly denoted towards that. The reason why I want to talk about raging is because that's something that happens in all communities across the board. People get upset, people get angry. We all know it happens to us, it happens to me sometimes, surprisingly, if anybody is so shocked at that. I do get angry and upset sometimes when I play my games. I'm sorry guys, I'm only human. But raging is something that we definitely need to actively talk about, and that we need to continuously try to strive to help improve the ways, not necessarily the ways we rage, but improve the ways we respond to people who rage, and also to potentially try to not cause people to rage. But I mean, of course, it's not going to be 100%. I mean, all I can do is say we should talk about it. I'm not necessarily saying that we are going to solve it and that we should solve it, because sometimes raging helps out, but I'm not a fan of it. Just got to say, guys, I'm not a fan of it. So anyway, I decided to break this vlog down into five different things. So those 5 things would be: what is rage, why we rage, what kinds of rage, what raging accomplishes, and the last one is alternatives to raging. So those 5 things will be the topic of this vlog. If I was fancy enough, I'll probably list them over there. I probably will, since I mentioned that, but you guys don't know that. So moving on to the first point, what is rage? So according to the internet, and of course the internet, I mean Urban Dictionary, because that's the best place to find a definition on raging. Raging is to get someone angry or mad, usually used by kiddies in IRC in games games when cheating and other players get mad. So that's that definition. There's also a few other definitions on raging according to the Urban Dictionary. Some definitions I don't think are appropriate relative to my moral standings, but that's just me. You guys can read all of them if you want to. I'll probably put a link somewhere if I remember to, but I probably won't. Just Google it yourself. It basically gets at 2 important things. The first one is that raging is usually when you're mad. I mean, that's kind of what's implied by the word raging. And also another thing is that some people purposely make you mad because they think it's fun. They think it's cool to do. And it's sometimes, I mean, I can see where that can become a fun thing. I can see where that can become a sport. It's like, how many people can you make mad in the game before they all just report you and you get banned for forever? I don't know, guys. It's totally not one of my hobbies, but some people do find it entertaining, and for those people who do find it entertaining, please stop. That is the definition of rage, so we'll use that as our definition, just basically to get someone angry or mad. That is what we're talking about when we mention raging. So for anyone who didn't know, there's your definition. Surprise. It's not that complicated. So the next part is why we rage. So there are many reasons why people rage. I don't really know why everybody rages. I know why I rage sometimes, so I basically list 3 reasons why I would personally get angry in a game and I might end up raging towards my teammates or towards other people. Keep in mind, guys, when I mention my rage is usually just internal, where I'm just like mad at myself and I'm kind of just like angry and I keep it contained. I don't necessarily lash out against everybody, but we'll talk about it a little bit later. Just not right now. Just a disclaimer for everybody who thinks Cool Blue goes and rages at everybody he plays against in Dota, which usually not true. 3 of these reasons are upset about performance. So sometimes I'm playing a game, I usually play support, which is, for the most part, supports are execution based, where like you kind of have to have this like key stun or key ability that you need to use to make sure your team can actually do what they need to do to win the game. Or you might need to place a ward, or you might need to place something here, you might need to buy a specific thing to make sure your team can overall win the game because you did your small contribution here or there. And I see that as execution based. So when I'm playing in a game of Dota, which is the game I play, and I do something wrong, execution based wise, I usually get upset. I was like, darn, I should have bought a TP scroll so I can TP down bottom to help out with that team fight, which we could have easily won if I was there with my big ability. Or darn, I should have placed that observer ward so my person in the off lane wouldn't have died that easily. So execution based things make me upset sometimes. And that is one of the reasons why I end up raging a few times. Another reason why we rage would be that someone is trolling pretty darn hard and probably being successful at it. This kind of the kind of rage that forms out of this is usually resentment towards that person or that team. It's usually directed directly towards that person, and it can easily boil over into your allies as well. But for the most part, it's just like somebody's trying really hard to just make you mad. Somebody's legitimately in the game just to make you personally mad, or just to make anybody mad, but you're the one who bit first, so they're just going to keep welling on you as long as they possibly can. And that kind of reason for raging, it's usually, I mean, it depends on your perspective. if you take 20 steps back and look back at it, it's kind of humorous. I can see where the humor could come from that. But if you put yourself in a situation where somebody's specifically trolling you and they're trying to get you mad and they're trying to get you raging, it's usually frustrating and it's usually annoying, and it doesn't really solve much. I mean, it might get them a few laughs, but at the end of the day, they'll probably either get muted or reported if it was me. And if it was the person who was actually raging in that situation that wasn't me, then I hope that they'll either mute or report, or maybe do both for that person to help make our community a better place. There are reasons why those things are put into place, guys. So no excuse for anybody who legitimately gets upset about that. Just mute and report that person, and you will not have to face it that much. Well, okay, you'll probably face it again from somebody else, but you can rinse and repeat the same thing, and you'll have a better gameplay life. You don't have to defend yourself every single time. Let Valve let Valve defend you. Okay, that's good advice. And another reason why we rage, this one I kind of put there as a funny thing, but the Dota gods hate you. This one is more so with all the pseudo random chances that we have in Dota. I play support, like I said to you guys. There are a few times where I try to make a great escape by TPing away when I know I was like, oh man, I took a bunch of damage, I need to TP now, I might be able to make it out alive. And I'm like just about to TP out, but then for some god-awful reason, the face is void on the enemy team who's punching me in the face, who doesn't have Chronos or anything. He just punched me in the face. He has 1 point in bash, which is like, I think, a 10% chance for it to actually bash. He gets a bash at like the 0.00001 second that I was about to TP back to base. And I'm like, just like that, you know, that's my dead eye stare right there. But that happens, and it's like, the Dota guys just hate me, man. I know I'm angry at myself, not necessarily just myself, but just kind of like everything else, just at the whole entire world. It's like, flip computer. I would do that, but it's too expensive to replace. But just like flip notebook that's on my desk and just like go about my day. So those are reasons why we rage. Moving on to the next section, which is kinds of rage. There are different kinds of rages. I listed it in 2 different categories, and then I'll list a few examples of what I mean in each category, a few things that will fit under each of those categories. But the 2 main categories are aggressive rage and then passive aggressive rage. Yeah, very creative, I know, but those are the 2 main kinds of rages. So as far as aggressive rage, which is the one that a lot of people refer to when they speak of somebody raging, there are basically 3 different little things I listed. One is lashing out against your team. So that's basically when you're so upset at something that happened that you just want to tell everybody why they're bad at this game, why they shouldn't be on your team, and why you hate their guts, even though they're on your team and the game is still going on and you could potentially still win the game. You just start lashing out really hard against all of them. Like, say you have on your team, you have a carry who has been farming for, let's say, 15 minutes, and they have nothing but a Battle Fury, and you're like, oh my gosh, you've been farming for 15 minutes, you have nothing but a Battle Fury. You should just uninstall the game, you're the freaking worst person in the world, blah, 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 blah. You start lashing out against them just because like you're upset about something that happened with you who played mid, and you're like level, 12, and your carry's like level 7 because they're in safe lane. But they haven't had free farm for 15 minutes, like, well, blah, blah, blah. It's like explicit word to rage. Another example of aggressive rage is basically hate pinging. Now, hate pinging, I think it's kind of funny sometimes, especially in the Dota 2 reporter. They had a little clip where like somebody was pinging Enigma because they were mad at him on his team, and it was pretty funny.
Ah, crap. What, are you pinging me? Is that you, Invoker? Yes, I know I let the tower die. I am fully aware that I messed up. Pinging me is not helping anything. What do you want me to say? Oh, hey, look. Ping, 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 ping. How do you like it? Ping, 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 ping.
But hate pinging is more so annoying than anything else, but it's just literally what it is. It's like you just hate somebody so much on your team that you just start pinging on them like a million times. And I think it's, like I said, I think it's funny sometimes, but other times I think it's kind of annoying because like you're trying to play your game, you're just trying to run around and like, say someone's hate pinging me, and I'm like just running around like they're just trying to ping me, they're pinging every single where I move, and I'm like, this guy's being obnoxious, it's not cool anymore. So yeah, that's a form of aggressive rage. And the last form of aggressive rage is of course the one, the only, rage quit. I mean, how much more aggressive can you get than just quitting right out? It's like, you know what? F all this, I'm just gonna go ahead and quit now, and you guys can deal with this. Screw you guys, I'm going home. So the next section is passive aggressive rage, and these ones I think are kind of funny because these are ones that people don't really attribute to raging, like just outright. They just kind of assume that these are just things people do because they're being jerks, not necessarily because they're raging or anything. But these ones are kind of important, so let's go ahead and bring these ones up. So passive aggressive rage, the three things I put under this one were basically calling GG after a failed play. This one is not necessarily saying only calling like if you call GG at a failed play that's at the very end of the game that you're probably going to lose the game for, yeah, it's legit. I mean, it's not really raging. But if you call GG because somebody didn't place a ward, it's like, hey, place a ward here, and they didn't place it, it's like, oh, GG. And it's like you call in all chat GG or something like that. Or say you go for a Roshan fight and you kill Roshan and the Aegis goes to your support on accident and you just call GG in all chat because you're just mad. And it's like, okay, you're not really helping right now, person who's calling GG when the game is obviously not over yet. Just shut up, please. So that's a form of passive aggressive rage. Another form of passive aggressive rage is intentionally feeding. Now, this one is more so intentionally feeding than rage, but it's people usually end up feeding to the enemy team because they're raging, and this one can happen in many forms. The most apparent one is just literally going out into the middle of the map or going to the most ridiculous places possible and then just letting the enemy team kill you so they can get some gold and another kill on their count. Some other ways you can intentionally feed are to basically feed couriers if you're playing Dota. If you're playing League of Legends, I don't think you have that option, so sorry. If you're playing Han, I think you have a chick in Han too. I just don't know what it is. If you're playing Strife, I don't think you can feed in Strife. Well, you probably can. I don't know. I don't play Strife that much. But anyway, the main thing is you're just feeding because you want the enemy team to either hurry up and win, or you just want to make your team have that much more of a disadvantage. So, or maybe you just want both to happen. I don't really know. I don't feed all that often. On act or on purpose. So there's another example of passive aggressive raging. The last example of passive aggressive raging would be chilling in the fountain. This one is a little bit more. I think this is the most respectful way to rage towards your enemy team. Is just like chill in the fountain, just not play anymore. Of course, your allies are gonna be like, hey, dude, stop being a jerk. Just quit being a little baby and just come finish the game with us or help us finish the game. But if you just chill in the fountain, you're doing two things. One, you're not feeding, which is great. Two, you're not really just like calling GG because of failed play or anything like that. You're just chilling in the fountain. You literally just say, you know what? I am personally done with this game. I'm just gonna go ahead and sit in this fountain, wait for my abandon to go through, and I'm gonna leave the game. And that, I think, is the most honorable way to rage. I don't necessarily think it's something that you should do every single game because you feel upset about something, but if you're going to do it, please do it that way, because that way, me as a player on your team, I can say, okay, this person's not really being a liability to me, and it's officially 4v5 relative to Dota. It's officially 4v5, and that's slightly upsetting to me, because that means we have a disadvantage, but at least this person who's raging is not really like, you know, communicating in our chat and just like being a jerk about it, or playing some obnoxious music because they're upset about something. They're just chilling in the fountain, waiting for their abandon, and then they're gonna go ahead and go. I can deal with that. Maybe if we do something good enough, we could potentially win them back and they could fight for us again, but for the most part, they're not really getting in our way. They're just gonna stay out of the way, wait for their abandon, and leave. That's cool with me. I'm perfectly fine with that. So there you go, guys. Those are the two categories of rage, let's just mention, were aggressive rage and passive aggressive rage. Now we'll move on to the next section, which is what raging accomplishes. Now, as far as what raging accomplishes, I basically put 3 bullet points here as well. Yeah, the top bullet point is raging usually accomplishes nothing. I mean, it usually accomplishes absolutely nothing positive, at least. Everything it accomplishes is generally negative. It very rarely happens that someone will rage about something and then the allies would agree and then change their ways. I mean, like, the few times I've ever seen that happen was generally somebody raged towards me personally, like in the game on my team. And then I'll say, oh, you know what, you're right, I'll buy some more wards because I'm playing support, my bad. And then the whole entire game was perfectly fine, like, everything was perfectly fine there. Just they had that one moment where they're just super angry, they got really upset, they said some choice words, and they said basically along the lines of, oh my gosh, explicit word, explicit word, explicit word, buy some wards, explicit word. And I was like, okay, my bad, I'll get those. And then we just went about our day and we won the game. And I was like, okay, cool. This person raged, but hey, it's cool because they brought up a legit point. Me, as the person receiving the rage, I said, oh, even though they're being super negative and super upset and stupid about it, I hear what they're saying. I can improve on that. That'll help us win this game. I did it, and then we won the game afterwards. Like, they were okay with it. They got over their rage, and everything was fine. But it's very rare that will happen. It really does take somebody who can see why somebody's upset and then act in ways that will not necessarily reward the rage that they had, but would reward or promote the team in general. Like somebody on my team came up to me and said, "Cool Blue, why are you not buying words? Explicit word, explicit word, explicit word, rage, 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 explicit word." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, buy words, got you. I'll do that." But then there are other times where somebody would do that to me, and then I would like, just say, "Okay, you know what, F you, go kill yourself, you buy your own words. I'm playing support, yeah, but I'm not gonna buy words because you want me to buy words." And I'll be that guy. I would just end up being that guy, and I'll perpetuate the situation into a much worse area than what it was before, but that doesn't happen all the time. I hope not. I have to go back and watch some of my POVs to see if that happens all the time. Anyway, another thing that raging accomplishes, it accomplishes the breaking down of communication. Now, like I said before, like very early in this video, rage or causing somebody to rage or trolling somebody just to make them upset or mad or get into their head and just get them on tilt can have some strategic benefits if you're on the enemy side and you're just like doing this to your enemy. Like if you're saying, "Oh, a person on the side that I'm playing against, you guys are bad, you should uninstall, your support can't even do this right," and blah, and then you get them upset and they start arguing among themselves, and it's, like they don't start communicating with one another, they start hating each other, and they start feeding towards your team. That has some strategic benefits. I'm not going to deny that. That, like I said, has its place. I don't think that's necessarily an honorable way to fight, but this is war, guys. War is not always about honor, especially not online, especially not on the internet, when anonymous is a thing. So the breaking down of line of communication is usually what raging accomplishes. As far as like infighting, if you're on the team that somebody like trolls towards you and then you start raging towards your allies, you're really just helping the situation for the enemy team. You're making their job a little bit easier because you guys on your side aren't really communicating with one another, and you guys are not necessarily going to be working together in the team fights. And all in all, you're probably going to lose the game just because you guys started arguing with one another. I mean, it's just flat out, that's what it is. Just try to be civil about things. If you guys are upset, please try. And it's very hard to ask for this because I know there's a lot of times where things would happen towards me and I would be upset enough to where I just don't want to, like, no, I don't even want to hear you talk right now. Don't even type. Stop typing, please. Just stop existing on my team. Uninstall the game right now. But, of course, being the person that I am, I'd say, Cool Blue, you gotta take a few steps back, man. You gotta consider what they said. Maybe it's true. Maybe if you do this one thing that they're raging about, like if you change your way just a little bit, you might win this game. Or maybe they'll think a little bit better of you if you just change this little thing that you did. And I can say, okay, I'll try it. But if it doesn't work, I'm gonna like just be mad at them. I don't know. I'll probably type some words that might offend them. I don't know how I'll react to that. But the main thing is raging usually accomplishes the act of breaking down communication, which is never really good for your team, because once communication breaks down, then you kind of lose everything else like right after it. If you don't continue to talk with your team, then you don't continue to let them know, hey, something's happening down bottom, maybe you guys should respond, or hey, don't go up top because something bad's going to happen. If you don't get that communication going back and forth, then your team is more likely to get caught out into bad situations and end up in bad team fights, and you're going to just lose because that snowballs out of control and you just lose the game because of that. So be careful about that. Another thing raging accomplishes is that it reduces enjoyability of the game. It's probably one of the most important things of all, because if you reduce the enjoyment of the game, then it just kind of begs the question of why are you playing this game anymore? Like, if you're not enjoying yourself, why play more? Of course, there's this thing of pride, and people want to just say, okay, I'm the best in the world, and they want to prove it just by being the best in the world and saying, here's my rank, #1 rank in the world, I am at the top, screw all you guys because I'm the best. But if you're not enjoying yourself at the end of the day for the general public, if you're not enjoying yourself when you play your games, then, it's like, why play this game anymore? Alright, I'm gonna go on a tangent here, guys. You guys are gonna go along with me. But there's this game called Awesome Knots, right? Which I love Awesome Knots. It was a great game, and I say was because I don't play anymore. I stopped playing it since for reasons other than anger. It was just kind of the expansion pack kind of made me mad. But let's not talk about that. So I used to play Awesome Knots a lot, and I used to play in between Dota. So I'll play a lot of Dota, and then I'll play some Awesome Knots for like maybe a weekend, and then I'll go back and play more Dota, and then I'll go play Awesome Knots more. And I used to go back and forth those games. It used to be fun, and I enjoyed myself thoroughly with Awesome Knots. And then there was this one time when I played Awesome Knots, like during the weekend, like my little break from Dota, When I play Also Nuts, I'm like, just having fun and stuff, and then there's somebody on my team who's just like raging. It was like, dude, why are you so mad? This is a 3v3 game. There's only 3 of us here. We kind of need the help of everybody involved, but you're just mad. And the thing that made it worse about, because with this, it was Also Nuts, is that with Also Nuts, you can just drop in and drop out whenever you wanted to. There's really no true, like, negative effect to your ranking or anything. I mean, you just kind of lose a few points here or there, but I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal. But you can just drop out, and then we would get a bot on our team, and we could just probably win the game that way. But instead, this person decided to insist on staying, raging the entire time while we're playing Also Nuts. And I'm like, why are you even raging right now? I don't even want to play this game anymore. So long story short, I didn't play Also Nuts for the rest of the weekend. I was slightly upset at the whole entire game because that one experience just made me like, dude, screw all this, it's not worth it. It's only a 3v3 game at Also Nuts. If I wanted this much rage, I could go back and play Dota very badly, and I could receive the same rage, and I'll be happy. Because I'll be playing Dota. That's it. Anyway, in tangent. Raging reduces enjoyability. It could potentially cause somebody to not want to play the game anymore. And I do sincerely suggest that if you are receiving a lot of rage, or a lot of rage happens around you, and you don't necessarily like it, and you're not enjoying the game anymore, I would sincerely suggest that you stop playing the game that you're playing for 2 reasons. One, it's not worth your time. Because first of all, nobody's really forcing you to play the game that you're playing that you can receive a lot of rage in. And 2, if you're not enjoying yourself, then it's same point as the first one, it's not worth your time. The last point, because I don't want to just complain about something and not leave any suggestions or any alternatives or anything like that, it's an alternative to raging. So for alternatives to raging, basically, once again, 3 points. Constructively point out what is causing the issue or what is causing you to be upset. This takes usually a lot more words than just saying, oh my gosh, I hate you. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, I hate you, say, oh my gosh, could you please do this thing that you're not doing? Like, if you say it like that, then maybe you could potentially get a more positive response from the person that you're upset towards, and it might help solve the situation, as opposed to saying, oh my gosh, I hate you, uninstall now. Like, if you say that, that's like, if I receive, oh my gosh, I hate you, uninstall now, I'm like, okay. That doesn't make me feel any better. That doesn't help me improve anything. You're just mad. And I'm just gonna like maybe respond with like, screw you, you uninstall. And then we'll end up in like a little pissing contest, and it's not gonna solve anything. But instead, if you say to me, oh my gosh, you're playing support, could you please just buy TP scroll so you can be in the team fight next time? And I can say, oh, okay, that's fine, I can just buy TP scroll, that's fine, you're right, I should have been in the last team fight, my bad. And then maybe we'll have a better time. I don't know. You never know until you try it, right? So another alternative to raging would be ignore the trolls, or by muting them, reporting them, and etc. That is pretty much straightforward. Dota has a beautiful system built into it to where you can mute people, and then you can also report them if they're really bothering you that much. That is a really effective system. I've seen many little messages pop up afterwards saying that this person, or we've taken action against this person. Thank you for making the community a better place. That's not necessarily saying I report everybody who upsets me. All that basically says is that when somebody does reach that point where it's like, okay, you are literally being the worst person in the world of Dota, just stop talking, please. I would literally mute them and report them. I would do both at the same time, because if somebody made me that mad or made me that upset to where I would want to mute them, then I think it's probably legit for me to report them. Mainly because they're not making this game enjoyable anymore. They're making this more of a chore than anything else, and I don't think that person deserves to continue the way they should. They should probably change their ways, so I just report them. I don't know, guys. I mean, you guys can feel some kind of way if you want to about it, but that's basically how I feel about it. If something becomes that big of an issue, then you should either use the system or just shut up about it. I mean, the system is there for you to use, and if you're not going to use the system, then you probably shouldn't complain about it. There, I said it. And the last alternative to raging is, I think, by far my favorite one. Basically, this is not a serious point, guys. This last alternative to raging is not a serious point. Just disclaimer, because some people might get offended. Basically, to do this, actual pause and then go punch some kittens. You'll feel a lot better after you actual pause and then go punch some kittens. You should go do that. You should go try it a few times. Maybe it's the thing for you. I don't really know. I don't actually suggest you do this, because punching kittens is not necessarily a good thing, and PETA will probably be all over you if you try to do that and they find out about it. And actually the internet will probably be all over you, because there was that report where basically, I think it was 4chan actually went and found the guy who was like abusing a kitten or something on the video. Like they found out where he lives and all this stuff. He sent the information to the police and they arrested him and stuff. That was kind of intense. So I'm gonna go ahead and retract that statement and say you guys shouldn't punch kittens. Instead, you should punch maybe a pillow, because pillows don't really have feelings and pillows can be punched and it probably won't harm your knuckles. So there you go. So that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Those are my talk on raging. Last thing I want to leave you guys with, because I want to make sure I leave you guys with a question at the end of all these videos that I speak on something about the community. Well, basically, what are some of the ways that you deal with rage? Feel free to list a comment below. I'll respond to that, and maybe we can start a discussion in the comments about these things. But this was just my video, my vlog on raging. And I just want to talk about it because I feel it's something we all need to talk about, because we all have our days where we just hate every single thing that is involved with Dota and we just want to murder everybody's faces, literally and figuratively. But we can't necessarily do that, because if we did that, then everybody in the world would be dead and it wouldn't be fun anymore. So yeah, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want to check out my other video, it will be linked somewhere if I rotate the right way. There we go. The link to the video will be listed over there, probably in that video playing right there. So check out that. That was vlog number 13. And you can also check out my YouTube page, which will be listed right over there. Which will be at youtube.com/coolbluedota. That's CULBLU Dota. Check that out. I do my commentaries and stuff over there. The vlog channel, it will be linked down here whenever it's up. It's not up at the current or at the posting of this video, but it might be up in the future, which I'll go back and change that link that says coming soon. But it will be there, so you guys can click on that if you want to get to my vlog channel, which I will be doing, just not right now because I keep forgetting to. My bad, guys. My bad. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it. Please let me know in the comments below if you guys want to see more of these talks or less of these talks, what topic you guys want me to talk about next time, and there's a high chance that I actually use that as the next video. But that's basically it for this video. Subscribe if you guys aren't subscribed to me if you like my stuff, and that's it. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll see you guys whenever.